watching Business Morning. On this is today, we do business. And we're going to discuss Nigeria's expatriate law, the quota. It's been on for a bit, but I wonder if you saw the last meeting that the minister had with stakeholders, and he was really crossed with what's going on. Said even some members of the cabinet, the Federal Executive Council, abuse some of that, and they ask for and approve things that are not supposed to be. The jobs that are supposed to be for Nigerians are being given, you know, to foreigners. But one of the stakeholders that was there is Mr. Adewale Smart Oyerinde. He's the Director General of Nigeria Employers Consultative Association. Mr. Oyerinde, you were there and you saw how the minister was really angry and all of that. But these are realities, because he even said some ministry or a minister had approved a job as small as maybe driving and, you know, and these are the realities. I mean, you are employers.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think first we must commend the minister for taking the bull by the horn. You know, it takes a lot of guts to try to sanitize a system that has existed or worked in a certain way for many years. And humans, as we are, once you are given an inch, you know, within the context of inappropriateness, you naturally want to ask for a mile, and that's what we think happened over many years. Where, according to him, you have expatriate, you have organizations or government agencies asking for quota, for ridiculous quota for drivers, quota for waitresses, you know, quota for so many ridiculous things. So I think it's coming, shook the ministry, shook the whole system, and the reforms that is championing, I said, which are very laudable reforms. I think they make a lot of sense in the context of protecting jobs, in the context of getting credible expatriates, because we really need expatriates, really, but getting credible expatriates to come to this country to add value to this, to our developmental stride. And if you check around the globe, as it were, you know, I think homeland security is becoming a major challenge. I listened, is it yesterday or this morning, that President Trump has again said if your visa is expired and you are caught, you will not only be deported, you will also be fined. You know, your visa is expired. Ordinarily, you know your visa is going to expire. You should ordinarily do whatever it takes for you to renew. But if you decide not to renew, that is willful risk, you know, that you are constituting to the country. And I think it's quite interesting, the reforms that the minister is driving. And we supported the reforms, or we support the reforms.
So maybe you should give us some highlights of the reform. I think it begins from May 1st. But what are the highlights? And just before you go on, the thing with Nigeria is having the reform and the law is one thing. Actually enforcing it is another thing.
Well, from what we've seen of the antecedent of the minister, you know, if you've traveled recently to the airports, you'll have seen some innovations that they've brought into the clearance, onto the boarding and onboarding, into the clearance, the immigration area of the airport. You will have seen some very innovative reforms, and it's working, you know. So, and we also believe strongly that Nigerians are not unnecessarily difficult people. All we need is create a system that works, and then people will follow. And you find one or two persons that will not necessarily want to test the waters again, to say, this is how we used to do it, so let's do it the same way. And
let's settle somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And he has put in structures, you know, automated a lot of processes, that personal interaction between the individual and another individual has been limited significantly. Collection of your e-visa has been automated, that you don't have to go to the bank to pay, you don't have to see anybody to apply. You apply it on your system. Your e-visa is sent to your system. You have, so the whole system sounds good to be true within the context of what we have seen before and what we have known before. And that's the reason why stakeholders supported them. We are supporting that drive to sanitize that whole process. Not only the expatriate quota administration, but also the immigration system itself, so that beyond jobs being protected, the homeland is also protected.
So what are the highlights of this law, which begins on the 1st of May?
I'll give you three. One is business permit. You know, In the last 1 month, there was a news by the EFCC that they busted some foreigners at is in Ikoyi, where they rented a whole apartment, and the predominant business there is illegal business. It's illicit business, and they're all foreigners, over 100 of them, carrying out illicit businesses in Nigeria. The point is, how did they get in? Which businesses or which business did they register? So the first reform is to sanitize the whole process of business permits. Rather than just issue permits, the ministry now will ensure that if you want to do business in Nigeria, they will physically visit the location to be sure that actually the business that you propose to transact in Nigeria is the same business that you're transacting. That is quite novel, and that we think should work. The second part is the issue of the temporary work permits. And according to the ministry, they have their data. Said we have people that have abused the temporary work permits. Temporary work permits for 3 months. So you have people that have used temporary work permits to be in the country for over 5, 6, 7 years. So every 3 months you renew. Every 3 months you renew. So the idea is, if you want to stay for 1 year, why not just apply for your SEPA card and stay for 1 year? And if you want to apply, you want to stay for 2, 3 years, why just keep exploiting the temporary work permit? Because with temporary work permit, you don't pay. So you can stay for 3 months, and then after 3 months, you renew your temporary work permit. So the rigma rule continues. So somebody that is not qualified can actually be in the country for 10, 20 years using the temporary work permit. So he said they are going to also deal with that so that they can monitor who comes in and they can monitor who goes out. And also of interest is the citizenship process. If you desire to be a citizen of the country, the rule has changed a bit, the processes has changed, all with the focus of, one, protect genuine investors. Because sometimes when people violate these processes, we say the expatriate community have violated, but meanwhile, not the whole expatriate community. We have credible, very hard-working expatriates in this country, and that are showing commitment in the context of development of this country. During the stakeholder meeting, we had an elderly Indian that said he has been in Nigeria. He has invested in Nigeria. He started his first investment in Nigeria was about 46 years ago. And he has continuously built his business, employing Nigerians, helping within the context of development. So there are expatriates that are actually contributing. But you see, you have some that are ordinarily, they are not supposed to be in this country because of the way they came into this country. So dealing with all those processes, sanitizing that whole ecosystem is what the minister has decided to do. And between May 1st, when the implementation will start, the ministry has given 3 months, is it moratorium or what do you want to call it? So between May 1st and August 1st, if your visa is expired, go and apply. If your passport is expired, if your documents are expired, go and regularize in 3 months. It will be a pat in the back. It will support you to regularize all those papers. But from 1st of August, the proper enforcement and penalty accrued will commence, which we think is fair enough.
Yeah, well, it's individuals that will have to enforce. As you said, some people will be in the country. They came for a temporary work visa. It's supposed to be for 3 months, and somebody in authority, at least representing an authority that saw the renewal, sees the history, and keeps on renewing.
Absolutely.
So that's why I said having the law is one thing.
It's a racket. It starts from the head.
Obviously,
it starts from the head, and I think he has also said he's going to limit the approval levels of directors within the context of that system, so that the core of approvals, is limited to those between his office and 1 or 2 offices that can actually deal with the core of those issues. If you don't deal with it, extraordinary situations require extraordinary solution. And if they realize they understand the system better, and they've seen the loopholes, they've seen the gaps within the context of that system, and they decide to block all the loopholes. For us, it's quite interesting, and I think it's worth supporting.
Yeah, it's a new era, and we'll stay hopeful.
Yeah. And I think one of the key takeaways for us during the stakeholder meeting is also the ministry's acceptance for us to have a clearing desk or a mediation desk. So during the course of the implementation of the reforms, and in fact, we have a committee comprising the organized private sector and the ministry that are already working currently to also look at the service delivery modalities for this whole concept. And he has also magnanimously agreed that we have a clearing desk that will be situated at the office of the Comptroller General of Immigrations. So when our members, when genuine business owners have issues, operational issues, in relating with the immigration or members of the Ministry of Interior, they can escalate to us. They can escalate to the organized private sector. These are the issues we have. And we, in turn, we escalate those genuine, credible issues to the ministry for quick resolution.
So a lot of interaction going on there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And as NECA, you have a fair coming on, Job Creation and Employability Fair. I wonder, what is it youth? Is it for youth, or do you
well, you know, depending on who you call youth now.
Youth at heart.
But what we do is one of the series of our employability scheme. You know, we are not only employers, we are not only focused on profits preservation, we're also concerned about the massive unemployment rate in this country. So one of the things we do annually, and in partnership with our members, is to create these fairs, job fairs, where we get employers that actually have vacancies to come and display their wares. You know, we invite young Nigerians, graduates, to also come and interact with these employers. And the history of the job fair, this is the 4th edition. The history of the job fair has shown that it has been a huge success for us. Not only for us, but even for the mass of job seekers in this country. So we have a lot of partners we are partnering with, those that are committed to reducing the challenge of unemployment in this country. Yeah.
So anybody can come?
Any youth can come. They will have to register, then they will go through a 3 weeks soft skill training. It's also compulsory. You must go through the soft skill training. It's also a part of our contribution to upskilling the young ones, or the youths, as we call them.
As NECA, yeah?
As NECA, yeah. So you go through the soft skill training for about 2-3 weeks. So once you finish the soft skill training, your certificate, you print your certificate online. That gives you access to attend the physical job fair.
Oh, so that means you have to have registered a while.
Yeah, you register. We have sent the link is out. The process has commenced almost a month ago for Nigerian youth to check. You register, then you get a prompt. It will lead you to register for the soft skill. It's free. All these are free. Register for the soft skill. Once you finish the soft skill, it's self-paced. You can do it in your home. Once you finish the soft skill training, then you're completing the soft skill training. You print your certificate or acknowledgement, so that, as I said, we give you the access to the physical job fair to interact with.
You can't fail, yeah? Is it participation? You have to get high scores and.
If you fail, you've started on the path to not getting a job, because your certificate also will be used by the employers to see, okay,
to see if you are worthy to be employed.
You are worthy to be employed, yeah.
All right, so that's a message for the youths, whether you're youth in age or youth at heart.
At heart,
you choose.
It is.
You choose. Thank you so much, Mr. Adewale Smart Oyeride, Director General of Nigeria Employers Consultative Association. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us here.